All right, welcome to another episode of The Real Deal. I'm your host, as always, Courtney Harden. It is Women's History Month. The series continues. I got a great guest coming up. Let's get it. All right, once again, welcome to another great and exciting episode of The Real Deal. I'm your host, as always, Courtney Harden. It is 11 a.m. here on the East Coast, March 18th. So happy Saturday. Once again, I'm very, very excited to continue to my special series, Women's History Month, highlighting some of the most incredible and, some of the just women in history and women in sports, media, business. Very excited to kick off this series. And I got another great guest coming up. She's waiting in the wings. I'm not going to keep her too much longer, but just want to get a quick intro. You can follow the show on all social media platforms. If you Google The Real Deal with Courtney Harden, that's you can find you can find all the episodes there. We're on Spotify, Google Play, Apple. You can follow the show at Get the Real Deal on Twitter. You can also find it on Instagram, Facebook, BS3 TV. We're on Roku, the Roku channel, BS3 TV app. You download the BS3 TV app. You can find all of our shows there, bs3tvlive.com, bs3network.com. I mean, we're all over the place. So you can get shows about everything from sports to comedy to travel to a lot of different things. So we have a lot of comments here already. Always enjoy your shows. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Thank you to Nathan Ramasandra. Always a loyal listener. You said you guys are the best. Really appreciate it. But without further ado, like I said, Women's History Month this month. And this woman I'm about to bring on, I've been wanting to get her on the show for a little bit. We connected a little while ago, and she's doing a lot of great things. Sydnee Walker, social media PR professional. She's the founder, CEO, and host. Let me get that again. Founder, CEO, and host. So she's a boss lady of the collaborative as well. And the collaborative is focused on connecting the sports and entertainment industry with journalists and PR professionals. So without further ado, I am going to bring her on. Sydnee Walker, thank you for coming on to the show. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, Courtney. Excited to be here.
Yes. I'm excited to have you on. And again, happy Women's History Month to you. Wanted to highlight you and highlight what you do. We're going to talk a little bit what the collaborative is and how that got started. We'll get into more of that. But first and foremost, again, how are you doing today on this Saturday? It's the middle of March. March is just flying by. But happy Women's History Month.
Thank you, and I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good, doing good. Like I said, starting Saturday with another show and continue to grind. I know you do the same thing, see your social media all the time and just put in all that work and everything. So again, I really appreciate you coming on. So let's start from the beginning. Let's start with who is Sydnee Walker? How'd you get into sports and things like that? The floor is yours.
Yeah, so I'm from Roswell, Georgia. I attended the University of Oregon, where I graduated in 2021 with a double major in journalism and PR. And I was also on the track and field team there, former hammer thrower. But I knew I always wanted to go into sports. I've played sports my whole life, and just watching sports with my parents, I was always someone commentating on the games rather than just sitting there and watching. So I knew I always wanted to go into sports. Originally, I thought that would be sports broadcast. So once I got to Oregon, I started working at their student-run TV station called Duck TV, and that's where I first learned how to produce, edit, get sideline reporting reps and all of that. And then 2 years in, I decided I was ready to try something new, and I ended up taking a PR class just for fun. Had really no clue what PR was, but some of my other friends were in that major, and I just fell in love with it. So I ended up adding PR as my second major, and then from there, I had some other opportunities on campus. I started working as a beat writer for our athletic department. And then from there, I just realized there was a whole other side to sports media, and I just fell in love with more of that behind the scenes work.
Okay, all right. Well, that's interesting. Like you said, you started with track and field. How did that how did that all come about too? First, before you like I said, got into the sports media.
Yeah, so I actually started throwing my sophomore
Okay.
year of high school, which is kind of late compared to most people. I was volleyball before then, but my mom signed me up for a throwing camp. I was throwing shot put and discus for my high school, and she found this throwing club near us, and they introduced me to hammer and weight, and I picked up on it rather quickly. Because if you're looking at the timeline, sophomore year is when you start getting offers. Then junior year, you get to start deciding what schools
Mhm.
you want to visit, and then fall of senior year, you sign. So it was a really quick turnaround for me, but I picked up on the sport really quickly, traveled across the country for different meets. And then Oregon was my final visit. And at the time, I wasn't interested in going across the country, but
Yeah.
they had a great track team and a great J school. And when I got there, I just fell in love. I felt like it was the only place where I could succeed academically and athletically. So it ended up being a great decision. I love my time out there. And yeah.
Okay, well that's interesting. Like I said, I love that the story of how like you said it started with track and field, the love there for that, and then you get into now sports journalism, PR, and everything, and all that's important. PR is very important. Talk a little bit about how important the PR of just about anything, but just in sports. Just talk a little bit about the PR part of sports.
Yeah, it's very important. So going back before I started PR, I was working at Turner Sports. I started there
Mhm.
with the social team while I was in college, and that was something that piqued my interest before I got to PR because I follow all these sports accounts on Twitter, Instagram, and whatever other platform, and I was curious how did they get all this content up and running. So just being behind the scenes of that, just learning how to ideate with the content team and even work on the analytics side. So that was something that was really interesting. And then upon graduation, I transitioned to the PR team and just learning how to tell stories, interact with fans, and just keeping that brand and image up and running throughout the year. But PR plays a huge part more than people realize. You're working day in and day out to get different stories and also making sure that there's positive sentiment in the news. So you're just always on the clock working to help that.
Can you hear me? I think we lost.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, I can hear you now. Yep. I'm not sure what happened. There was a little bit of glitch, but yeah. So yeah, you're right. I think PR is super important. I think you're right. It's needed, and especially when certain things, like certain athletes might say something, off the wall, and then you're like, oh no, yeah, we need to clean this up or whatever too. So I know that happens too. So talk a little bit about you worked at Turner Sports. Talk a little about that experience.
Yes. So I went from intern to full time. They have an event every year called She's Got Game on their campus in
Mhm.
Atlanta, where women who want to work in the sports industry come for a full day and get to hear from their different departments. So I attended that my sophomore year since I was still at home because Oregon hadn't started school yet. So I went there, and that was the first time I was introduced to the social team. So I really just loved hearing from them, and they have an internship for everyone. Everyone can apply for an internship at the end of that program. So I applied and I got it, and I started working with the social team. So I was working with the NBA on TNT and NBA TV properties, just
Mhm.
rotating between content team, partnerships, and then research and analytics. And during my time there, I expressed I was really interested in analytics. I didn't have any previous experience, but just looking at my own analytics, that was something that really interested me. So from there, they offered me an extension, and I stayed with the analytics team for another year. So just building reports for the content team to see what's performing well, what's not performing well, what they can improve on. Just sending sentiment reports to the sales team and different things like that. Then upon graduation, I started working with the marketing and PR team. So splitting my time between marketing, building deliverables for different partners when it comes to March Madness,
Mm.
All-Star Weekend, etc., and then working with PR, which is a really great experience. I was working on all the properties, NHL, MLB, NCAA, and NBA. I'm just working on those major tentpole events, working on press releases, working with our talent on their podcast. So overall, a very great experience. I loved it there.
Yeah, I mean, and it just goes to show like you were just doing a little bit of everything for a couple of different, like I said, social media, PR, marketing. Almost like you were like, I'm just going to put my hands in a little bit of everything till I find where my niche. But you didn't just leave yourself in a box where you're like, oh, I'm just working on social media or I'm just working on PR. I want to learn a little bit of everything. And I think that's great advice too for people that want to get into this business, even if they want to start a podcast or they want to get into social media because all this is very important. So I think that's really really great that you were able to kind of like branch out and do a lot of different things. Would you say that's like great advice for someone that if they they're coming up, they graduate, and they're like, well, I want to do this, but maybe you have to start from here and then you go to where you want to go.
Yes, I think it's great when you're young at this time in college and like your early career to
Hmm.
explore what you like and don't like. Just figure out what you like. There's always time to build upon that. So, like I said, I thought I was really interested in broadcast. Then I figured out there was more stuff. So you just never know
Yeah.
what's out there. And even beyond marketing, PR, and social, there's sales, there's advertisement, there's production. Like there's so much out there. So just taking the time to connect with people and see what interests you.
Yeah, that's a great point. The connection now, it's like you can connect with a lot of different people from all over. I think I know social media gets a bad rap a lot because of there's a lot of bad things that are going on in social media, but social media with connecting, like that's how we connected. We connected on
Yeah.
social media through different avenues, different people. We connected on Instagram through different people. Shout out to Evan Norman, that was part of it. But I was following the collaborative from Twitter, and that's how the connection going, and that's why I said I definitely wanted to get you on the show. So, but let's get into the collaborative now that you went from the TNT and social media. Now started a collaborative. Talk a little bit about how it got started, what it is, and its benefits and things like that.
Yeah, so I founded the collaborative in 2020 at the start of COVID
Mm,
with my friend Ryan Ballas, who I attended the University of Oregon with, and it's focused on connecting the sports and entertainment industry with aspiring journalists and PR professionals via Zoom fireside chats. So COVID was just getting started, and I was thinking of ways to keep myself busy, and I thought it'd be a great idea to have these Zoom sessions with seasoned veterans in the industry and connect them with students, young professionals, entrepreneurs, and anyone else who just wants to expand their network. So our very first guest was Spencer Paysinger. I'm not sure if you watch All American, but that show is based on his life.
mhm.
And he did football at Oregon, so we had that connection. And that was the first one. And then from there, we had them weekly, and now we have them monthly. But we've had over 42 guests, ranging
Wow.
from NBC's Maria Taylor to ESPN's Marcus Spears, Ryan Clark and Laura Rutledge, to New Orleans Saints defensive end Cameron Jordan, and MLB Hall of Famer John Smoltz. So these monthly sessions are a great way for people to learn more about the industry, connect with different people across the industry, from sideline reporters, beat writers, execs and marketing, PR, and also current and former professional athletes. So you don't have to work in sports to attend our sessions, but if you just want to expand your network, learn more about the sports industry, connect with other like-minded people, we have sessions once a month. They're 30 minutes, and we always open it up for audience Q&A, so people are able to get hands-on experience asking questions to these people and building relationships as well.
I love that concept. I really do because you're right. It's like you're reaching out to, as you said, some of the biggest names like Maria Taylor, Laura Rutledge, and Marcus Spears. It's like those are people that you see on TV every day, daily, and everything. I saw you enjoy Taylor. I mean, there was so many names. I was looking through like who you had on the show or who you had on the collaborative, and I was like, wow. And then you did the Black History Month series, which that was great. Talk about that concept, and you had someone from the profession of sports and journalism and PR, and they talked about what Black History Month means to them. Talk how that concept came about.
Yeah, so I started that series last year. I'm
Mhm.
always thinking of ways to highlight different people in the community and also those who attend our sessions. So last year, I thought it'd be a great idea to kind of start it with Black History Month. So I just reached out to a bunch of people and I was like, hey, if you could send me this and explain what Black History Month means to you. I'd love to showcase you. And last year was a huge hit. We got a lot of people. So I brought it back again this year, just reached out to different people. And I also opened it up to anyone who wanted to be featured and just share their story. And people blew it out the park this year. We got a lot more submissions.
Yeah.
I ended up like 2 people a day because it was so popular. But it was just great to see how many people wanted to share their story. And it was great for me to be able to feature them throughout the month. So I was very pleased with everyone who participated and all the love that was shown their way.
Yeah, it was. I really enjoyed that, and you had a few people, like you said, Evan Norman. I mean, I've had her on the show a couple of times, and she's doing incredible things too. And you had Alexis Robinson.
Yes.
She was one of my first guests on my podcast. I think we're going on like 6 years now. So she was one of the first ones that was on the podcast, and I seen it, and I just had her back on. She don't do a lot of podcasts,
Yeah.
and she said that, and I'm sure she probably said she said I don't do a lot of things like that anymore like she used to, but now she says she wants to get back into it. So I had her on the beginning of the year, and like it was a while, and I reached out again. I said, hey, I would like to get you back on. But I saw that you had she did the collaborative with you as well, so she's doing a lot of credible things too. But how do what's like one of the questions I always like to ask my guests? How do you pick your guest list of who you want to highlight or who you want to connect with?
Yeah, I just try to diversify it within the industry. So just looking at different companies, whether that's ESPN, Fox Sports, and then also connecting athletes as well, because a lot of people like to hear from them. And also just timing that with the season. So right now with March Madness, you're probably not going to get anyone in that perspective. So just looking at someone maybe NBA or MLB, then I try to mix it up. So someone, an executive in marketing or a sideline reporter, a beat writer for a team. So just trying to match it with our students and young professionals are interested in and who they want to hear from. Because a lot of people are just trying to figure out their major, or maybe they're in early careers and want to hear from different people. So just trying to mix it up that way so they can hear from a wide range of professionals.
Yeah, I love what you're doing. So keep doing it. Keep doing your thing on that, because it's as you said, you're boss, founder, and CEO of this, and so you control everything. And like I said, you started during COVID. How difficult was that? Because I know, like I said, when COVID hit, it was just figuring out, okay, how can I create content? How can I get to, when there was no sports, there were no, but people were willing to talk because we had a lot of time on our hands too when we were home. But how was that navigating through the pandemic? And you said starting a new business.
Yeah, I actually felt like it was easier because now everyone can be on Zoom, where in the past you'd have to be in person, which doesn't make it accessible for everyone to attend. So I think that really helped. And a lot of students were also looking for things to do. So this kind of popped up at the right time, and people were able to get onto these sessions, expand their network. And also with work at the time, that was when they entered the NBA bubble. So also just thinking of ways to stay creative there. But I think it just makes it easier, especially with these guests, because you wouldn't be able to get these household names if it weren't for Zoom. So I think that definitely was a plus. People can hop on anywhere, anytime. So I think that really helped during COVID.
Yeah, you're right. I think that's even they said even with the podcast, there was no sports, but I'd like people have more time. So you like you said, you reach out via you reach out via Instagram or Twitter or whatever, or Facebook or LinkedIn or email, and everybody's just thinking, oh yeah, I'm gonna jump on and just talk about whatever's going on. Like, what movie are you watching? Like, what shows are you watching now? Like, what's on?
Exactly.
So yeah, you're right. You're right. So I think it's a great thing now that you could do travel now, and and everything too. It's almost like getting back to its normal thing. But one of my questions I want to ask you is like, what's your day to day look like? I know it's probably different each and every day, each and every week. But what's the day to day? What's a day in the life of Sydnee Walker?
Yeah, usually prepping for our future guests. And then if we had a previous session, I'll edit that throughout the week and get some clips ready for social. So we had a session last Tuesday, so I'll be working on that editing wise to get it up on YouTube, and then also getting some social clips. And then also building up our database, doing community outreach, just reaching out to students, young professionals, and anyone else telling them about the collaborative and just getting them in my database. And then I'll work on newsletters to inform everyone of what's coming up for us, and then planning any in-person events. So last year we hosted our first in-person event in Atlanta, which was a huge success. We've also hosted additional ones here, just going to games, happy hours. And then next week, I plan something in LA. Students and professionals will be able to get a tour of the NFL office in LA and also hear from NFL employees. So just thinking of different experiential learning opportunities for people across the country. So working on that too as well.
Okay, that you stay busy. Staying busy, as you said, traveling now and in-person meetings and in-person different seminars, things like that. I think it's great too. But you're right, Zoom is still available, like just like this live stream or anything like
Yes.
that. StreamYard and others. I think it's great that we're able to connect that way too, and everything too. Also, you have another page where you're Atlanta food and lifestyle influencer doing Sid ATL Eats. Talk a little bit about that. What you do with that. I know you said you showcase some of your favorite restaurants, and we all love food. We all love to eat, so you got to have that. But what? How did that come about?
Yeah, I started my food page in June of 2021. I always posted food on my personal page, so I was like, I might as well make a food page. So right after graduation, I just posted my celebration meal on my page, and I built a following rather quickly after that. So I've had it for a little bit now, and it's just really fun traveling to different restaurants and capturing content, and starting to get more paid opportunities now, which is always nice.
Yes.
But it's funny just looking back at my very first post to now, like I had no idea what I was doing before. It was really bad. Whatever I posted on TikTok, I posted on Instagram. You can see the TikTok watermark. But now I have my equipment. I bring my camera with me. So it's just really cool to see the growth from that very first post to now, and just like having that content creation life.
No doubt. Yeah. I mean, as you said, you're a content creator. So it is funny when you go back and you look at some of your like past videos from a couple of years ago. You're like, I really said that. I really did that and everything too. But that's what makes it. That's the growth of us getting better at
Right.
what we love to do. So let me ask you this: what are some of your favorite foods?
I'm big on brunch. I love brunch. I love Mexican food. And also I like happy hour. So I think those are my three areas I focus on my page.
Yeah, can't go wrong with any of that. Any of those Mexican food and brunch and
Right.
happy hour. I mean, you get a little bit of everything. And with happy hour, you get appetizer, you get drinks and
Exactly.
things like that. So you get a little bit of everything. I mean, food is food. Food. I mean, everybody loves food. I mean, that's just it's just what it is. I mean, we love to eat if it's healthy, unhealthy.
Right.
Not promoting unhealthy food, but it's just saying just food is food. We just love to snacks, things like that. So, but that's great that that's another like I said, another way to just showcase something that you like to do as content creating as well. So yeah, just had one more. Just wanted to what advice would you give to someone like I know we talked a little bit about it that like I said wants to get into this industry, wants to do social media, wants to do uh be into sports or business, things like that. What advice would you give to someone?
I always say this, but my best piece of advice is to shoot your shot. The worst someone can say is no. Like you never
Yeah.
know what will happen unless you ask. I tell everyone I always DM people. I'm not afraid to DM anyone and ask them to be on the show or just ask for advice or anything. So I just connect with people who you look up to or want to learn more from, and just put yourself out there. And like I said, the worst they can say is no and point you to someone else who can help. But just figure out having these informational sessions, connecting with others, even connecting with your friends, and just see what they're doing, following different people on social media, and just learning more about the industry.
I like that. Like that on advice. Yeah, shoot your shot because, as you said, you reach out, and if you're as active as like you said you are, I reached out and you were like yes. So, and I want to connect with the collaborative even more. So I want to really push this, push your the collaborative. Anything I can do to help or the platform or whatever, I'm willing because I love the concept like you said and just
Thank
love
you.
of the connections you have with even with students and getting getting guests that have been through it and can give them advice of how to get started, because everybody's path is different from where you want to go, where you want to be at. So I really like what you do. So the last one I wanted to ask was like, this is Women's History Month, and we're seeing the growth of women in a lot of different things. You know, there's still room there, and there's still people that still, give a lot of flack to it, but it's growing away. But what does Women's History Month mean to you on a professional level and personally?
Yeah, I think it's a time to reflect on the accomplishments of women. Before we weren't really highlighted, kind of put in the corner, but now we're able to see women do so many great things, and people who may not be familiar with women in the industry are able to really see their talents during this month. And also, women in sports is just growing as a whole. Like, I love
Yeah.
seeing it. And there's just so many women doing amazing things, from being GMs to
Yeah.
SVPs and just working across the industry. So I think it's really great to see the growth, and also just seeing young girls want to do something because they see it on TV, whether that's playing a sport or they want to be a sideline reporter or whatever it may be.
Mhm.
It's just amazing to see how many women can inspire the next generation.
Yes, agreed. 100% agree. And you're right. We're seeing it from CEOs like yourself to, say GMs, and I just would love to see, especially black women too. Not, just pushing forward and kicking down doors and knocking down the doors. And it's like, look, we're here.
Yeah.
We're here. Like, we're not going anywhere. I love seeing that. I love highlighting that. I appreciate that. And just these CEOs and bosses and GMs and managers and
Mhm.
CFOs, and just in all areas of, just not just in sports, but we talk, like you said, business and tech and
Right.
wherever else. So, but Sydnee, I really appreciate you coming on, taking the time to on your busy morning to come on to the show. Like I really, like I said, I really appreciate what you do. Let everyone know where they can actually follow you. And you said you're active. You're all over social media. So let them know they can follow you, follow the collaborative, and how they can get in contact with you, and all those things.
Yeah, you can follow me, Sydnee Walker, on Instagram at Sydnee_Walker, Twitter, Sydnee_Walker5, and then on LinkedIn, I'm just Sydnee Walker. Make sure you have the double E, SYDNEE.
Get it right. Yes.
And then Collaborative, we're on Instagram under the Collaborative X. And then if you click the link in our bio, we have everything from our YouTube, Twitter. We have a group meeting with all of our students, young professionals, and entrepreneurs. So that's another great way to meet people. So feel free to reach out to me. I love to connect with everyone.
Absolutely. And again, it's the collaboratives focus on connecting the sports and entertainment industry with journalists and PR professionals. So if you're a student, or if you're a professional, or just the journalism and everything else, please hit up Sydnee. She, like I said, she comes right back within minutes sometimes, and everything too. But you already said DMs are open. Keep it clean, please, everyone. Please, you can ask a question or you want to collab. But I really appreciate it. And you got another shout out. Ben Sutter, who is the creator of the BS3 Network, says
Hey,
what's up to us. So yeah, thanks for tuning in, Ben. Always appreciate you tuning in as well. So again, I thank you. I'll be sharing this on all my social media platforms. It's not, like I said, it's gonna be everywhere. It's on Spotify, Google. It's gonna be everywhere. But I'll share this with you. Share it on your page and the collaborative as well. So again, thank you, and then enjoy the weekend. Like I said, March Madness is here. So did you do a bracket? Did you do brackets?
yeah, it
Or
was busted once
yeah,
from EA, so I'm just
yes.
enjoying the games now.
Me too. Me too. It was busted. Arizona losing, Virginia losing,
Purdue,
Yes, Purdue. Memphis lost yesterday. Yeah, my bracket was busted the first day when, like I said, Virginia lost and all these other teams. I mean, I'm in the middle in some of my leagues, but it's like, nah, this is done. So those are going to enjoy the games now. So yes, well, but thank you, Sydney. I really appreciate you, and again, best of luck with everything, and many blessings to you.
thank you so much. And thank you, Courtney, for having me on the show. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, me too. Thank you. All right, you have a good one. I'll talk to you soon.
You too.
All
Bye.
right, thanks. Bye. All right, that was Sydnee Walker. Uh, great. She does a lot of different great things. Again, she's the founder and CEO and host of the collaborative. It's focused on connecting the sports and entertainment industry with journalists and PR professionals. Follow the collaborative. Follow Sydnee. Again, it's with two E's, Sydnee Walker. She's on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and LinkedIn, and Facebook. So she's got a lot of different things going on. She's doing big things with, they said, young professionals and students, Zoom meetings, and just having great guests. And she named like some of the guests that she's had on the show, from Maria Taylor to Joy Taylor to Marcus Spears to Laura Rutledge. These are big, big names. Alexis Robinson. Shout out to Alexis Robinson. Man, I mean, that she does her thing too, as well. So follow her. Follow just all the people that's been on. Evan Norman, shout out to her. She's been on the show as well. Some of the people I had on the show has been on. So, but yeah, that's a wrap for the show. I hope everyone enjoys their Saturday. I hope everyone enjoyed the show. Follow the content each and every week. I got content each and every day. This month has just been about the Women History Month. Got more great guests coming up in these next 2 weeks, just highlighting professional, different women, in the sports entertainment industry. So be on the lookout for all the promotion there. Again, thank you to Sydnee Walker. Really appreciate what she's doing with the collaborative. Follow the collaborative. But you can follow me again at Get the Real Deal on Twitter and Facebook. Follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Courtney Harden. Follow the show on bs3tvlive.com, bs3network.com, the Roku channel. That's where you can get all of our shows. BS3 TV on Roku. If you have a Roku device, Roku TV, BS3 TV, download the app, download it there, get all of our shows from movie reviews to sports to media, everything. And we got a lot of things in the chamber as well, coming up. So continue to follow BS3, continue to like all the content and things like that. Now we got writers writing for the network as well, social media, a lot of different things. So again, thank you everyone that tuned in. Thank you everyone that tunes in every week, who likes it, who like the pages, and just continue to follow the content. Thank you once again. Really appreciate it. That's a wrap for the show. As always, enjoy the weekend. Peace and God bless always.